Alex Rayner adjusted the straps on his backpack and stepped onto the crowded platform of the Virelia Central Market. The air shimmered with energy, not just from the throngs of people, but from the faint hum of alien devices and glowing artifacts that lined every stall. Traders from across the galaxy had gathered here, their voices overlapping in a chaotic symphony of trade. Humans were still a minority here, and Alex felt the familiar mix of curiosity and cautiousness that always accompanied him in places like this. His mission was simple on paper: catalog a rare bioluminescent plant called Luminora spiralis. In reality, it meant dodging aggressive vendors, deciphering alien languages, and trying not to look like an obvious human outsider. Despite all the chaos, Alex felt alive. He had always loved the unknown. He bent over a crate of softly glowing Luminora, careful not to touch the delicate stems. The plant pulsed in rhythm with some unseen energy, sending tiny waves of light across its translucent leaves. Alex adjusted his scanner and made a note. The Luminora's energy pattern was unusual, almost like it was trying to communicate. A faint smile crossed his face. This was the kind of anomaly he lived for. A sudden shadow fell over him. Alex looked up just in time to bump into someone. He stumbled back, narrowly avoiding knocking over the crate. "I'm so sorry," he said quickly, glancing up. The figure in front of him froze. She was tall, elegant, and unmistakably royal. Her skin shimmered faintly, reflecting the lights of the market in shades of silver and violet. Her eyes, large and almond-shaped, widened as they met his. She wore a flowing garment that seemed to ripple like water as she moved, and delicate jewelry hummed softly in tune with her presence. Alex blinked, taken aback. Excuse me." Guards appeared at the edges of his vision, moving swiftly to flank her. Alex realized this was no ordinary person. She was important, too important to be in a crowd alone. "Step back," one of the guards commanded, his voice firm but not hostile. Alex raised his hands. "I'm not a threat." "I swear." The princess's guards positioned themselves in a protective semicircle, watching Alex with suspicion. He noticed subtle energy traces around her, almost like the air itself vibrated differently in her presence. It was faint, but his scanner, sensitive enough to pick up biological energy patterns, caught a ripple. Alex swallowed nervously. "I'm just cataloging the plants." "I didn't mean to disturb." He had to know why she reacted that way. He stepped after her, weaving through the throngs of alien traders, careful not to lose sight of her. The crowd made it difficult, but he managed to keep up, careful not to draw attention to himself. Finally, they reached a quieter part of the market, a narrow corridor lined with polished metal walls and small shops selling rare spices and alien trinkets. Here the princess stopped. She faced him directly, her eyes scanning his features as if searching for something he didn't know existed. "I don't understand," Alex said, his voice low. Why did you stop?" "The resonance, the signal. I've never seen it in one of your kind before." Alex hesitated, then followed. He needed answers. Something about her reaction was bigger than him, bigger than chance. They reached a high balcony overlooking the marketplace. Here the crowds were far below and the hum of energy seemed to quiet. The princess finally spoke again, her voice clearer but still cautious. "Ithari can detect potential," she said. "We sense patterns, signals. You carry one that should not exist in a human." He had spent years cataloging alien species, but he had never encountered anything like this. A signal buried in his own biology that resonated with a species he barely knew existed. It was absurd. And yet her expression was serious, her calm certainty unnerving. I think you're mistaken," he said cautiously. "I'm just human." He couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed the moment their eyes met. Something in him had triggered recognition in her, and he didn't know why. The princess spoke again, quieter this time, almost to herself. "I should not be here, but I must see more." "About me." Before he could ask another question, she stepped back, signaling her guards. "I must leave," she said. Her tone left no room for argument. "Do not follow." He stayed on the balcony long after she was gone, staring down at the market. The usual chaos of trading, bargaining, and haggling seemed dull in comparison to the encounter he had just experienced. Something had shifted. Something in him resonated with her in a way he could not comprehend. As he packed up his scanner and notes, a flicker of determination ignited inside him. He needed to understand what the princess had seen. He didn't know if it was a genetic anomaly, some kind of energy signature, or something else entirely, but he had to find out. He returned to his temporary quarters on the space station, a small but functional lab filled with alien specimens, scanning equipment, and stacks of notes. He began running tests, scanning for unusual energy signatures in his own body, cross-referencing historical records of Ithari legends, and even reviewing the security footage of the marketplace. Hours passed. Nothing, until he noticed a faint pattern, almost invisible, hidden within the background of his scans. A resonance, subtle but undeniable, matching an ancient energy frequency documented in Ithari records, records of a human who had, according to legend, played a critical role in the early days of the Ithari civilization. Alex froze. Could it really be true? Had he unknowingly carried a signal that connected him to a civilization he had only studied from afar? The implications were staggering. He leaned back in his chair, rubbing his eyes. He had always believed humans were clever, adaptable, and resourceful, but this was something beyond that, something he could never have predicted. A quiet chime interrupted his thoughts. He glanced at the communication panel. A message appeared, short and cryptic. "Meet me. I cannot reveal myself openly, but you must come alone." He packed a few essentials, double-checked his scanner, and prepared to follow a path that no human had walked before. Curiosity, courage, and a deep, stubborn sense of human ingenuity propelled him forward. Whatever this resonance was, whatever the princess had seen, Alex was determined to uncover it. And as the station's lights reflected off the metallic walls, he whispered to himself, "All right, let's see what this is all about." Alex sat in his lab, the soft glow of alien devices casting shifting shadows across the walls. The message from Princess Lyra burned in his mind like a spark he couldn't ignore. "Meet me. I cannot reveal myself openly, but you must come alone." His pulse quickened. He didn't know if it was a trap, a test, or something far stranger, but curiosity had always been stronger than caution. He ran a hand through his hair and leaned back in the chair. The scanners hummed quietly, analyzing the faint resonance that had triggered her reaction. Alex had spent hours combing through historical records of the Ithari Empire, and now, with this new clue, he began comparing the energy patterns in himself with the descriptions in their ancient codices. The resonance was subtle, almost imperceptible, but it was real. The records described a human, or more accurately, a line of humans, whose energy patterns had intertwined with the Ithari long before recorded history. They were credited in myth with helping shape the early Ithari civilization. According to legend, one human had influenced key decisions, guided the empire in times of crisis, and left a mark so deep that some Ithari believed the species itself had been shaped by this human's ingenuity. Alex's fingers trembled slightly as he realized the implication. He was ordinary, just a human who had spent years studying alien biology and culture. Yet somehow he carried a trace of that ancient connection. He had no idea how or why. The communication panel chimed again. A small, encrypted message had arrived. It was a set of coordinates in a remote sector of Violia space, accompanied by a time in 4 hours. The message bore no words beyond the signature, Lyra. Alex hesitated. Going alone was risky. The princess could be testing him, or worse, setting him up. But staying would solve nothing. Curiosity, the same trait that had brought him across galaxies, won. He packed a small bag, his scanner, a portable analyzer, a compact blaster for defense, and a few essential supplies. He left his notes on the desk, copies of the Ithari codices carefully saved in his datapad. When he boarded the small shuttle he had rented, his mind raced. He tried to anticipate what he would face. Pirates, mercenaries, or Ithari agents who might question his presence. None of his predictions matched the odd sense of calm and inevitability he felt. It was as if something larger had set events in motion. The shuttle lifted off, engines humming smoothly as it cut through the crowded lanes of the space station. Alex glanced at the city below, a labyrinth of glowing spires and floating platforms. The market where he had first seen Lyra seemed distant now, almost like a memory from another life. The coordinates led him to a small, rocky asteroid drifting in a quiet sector. The surface was rugged, cratered, and largely barren, with only a few glints of metal reflecting the distant starlight. As he approached, he noticed a faint energy signature unlike anything he had seen before. It was similar to his own resonance, only stronger, more controlled. Someone or something was waiting. He landed the shuttle in a natural hollow, shadows stretching long across the jagged rocks. The resonance grew stronger as he stepped out. His heart pounded. He was no longer just a visitor in the galaxy. He was a participant in something ancient, something that transcended species. "Alex Rayner," a calm voice said, echoing across the hollow. He froze. The voice was unmistakably Lyra's. "Princess Lyra," he called, keeping his voice steady. I came alone like you asked. You must see this for yourself." The resonance within him reacted immediately, the familiar hum in his body growing louder, almost as if recognizing a kindred force. Lyra watched him carefully, her eyes searching his expression. "Do you feel it?" she asked. Alex nodded slowly. "Yes, it's like something I've known but never understood. I can feel it in my bones, in my mind. It's alive." "You carry a fragment of our history, Alex. Not by training, not by technology, not by accident. Something in your lineage connects directly to the Athari. You have the resonance that links us to a human from our ancient past, the one who shaped our civilization in ways we still feel." "I didn't do anything. I don't even know how this could be possible." "That unpredictability is what allowed your ancestor to influence the Athari, and what allows you to carry the resonance now." You're saying I'm special?" he asked, incredulous. Lyra shook her head. "Not special in the way you think, not because of power or lineage or status. You are capable. That is what our ancestors recognized and what I see now. The resonance is only part of it. How you choose to act is the rest." He had come here to find answers, and now the answers were more confusing than ever. Yet he felt a strange clarity, a sense that he was exactly where he needed to be. A sudden vibration in the sanctuary caught both their attention. A soft, rhythmic pulse, like footsteps from outside. Alex instinctively moved to a vantage point near the cave entrance. Through a small opening, he could see sleek ships approaching the asteroid. Their markings were unfamiliar but threatening, the Zyra Marauders, notorious raiders known for hitting isolated targets with precision. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They have found us," she said. "I had hoped to avoid them." Humans had always survived by improvising, by acting where others hesitated. He stepped forward, ignoring the fear rising in his chest. "Then we improvise," he said. Lyra regarded him silently, then nodded slowly. "Show me what you mean." Using the sanctuary's natural terrain, he spotted mineral formations that could reflect energy, creating a shield if aligned correctly. He instructed Lyra to activate some of the ancient Athari devices embedded in the cave walls, devices she had never thought to use in combat. Together, human intuition and alien technology formed an unexpected defensive array. The Marauders' ships descended, their sensors scanning for threats. Alex noticed the resonance in himself reacting to the ship's energy patterns. His body, in some inexplicable way, seemed to predict their movements. He guided Lyra through the alignment of the devices, adjusting the reflective energy shields and rerouting energy pulses. A Marauder ship fired. The pulse hit the shield, bouncing back and disabling one of their engines. Another attack was redirected, the energy striking the asteroid itself and creating a controlled, non-lethal explosion that forced the raiders to retreat momentarily. Lyra watched in awe. Her species was known for foresight, for predicting outcomes, but this human, this unpredictable human, was thinking in ways her telepaths could not. Alex's ability to improvise, to adapt instantly, was a living proof of what the Athari had always known. Humans were capable of extraordinary feats. When the last of the Marauder ships retreated, the resonance within Alex quieted slightly, as if acknowledging success. Lyra approached him, her eyes bright with admiration. "I underestimated humans," she admitted. "I underestimated you." "That's kind of our thing." Instead, he had found something greater, the realization that humans, even ordinary humans like him, could influence events in ways even the most advanced alien species could not anticipate. Lyra finally spoke, her voice gentle but firm. "You carry more than a resonance, Alex. You carry the potential to change things for both our species, and that is why you startled me." "I did not know such a human could exist." The princess studied him silently, then reached out a hand. "There is more you must see," she said. "The truth of why you carry this resonance and why the Athari have awaited your kind for so long. But that truth must wait until we are safe." "Then let's make sure we get there." The resonance had awakened, the princess had recognized him, and the universe had suddenly grown far larger, far stranger, and far more exciting than he had ever imagined. Alex followed Princess Lyra deeper into the sanctuary, his steps echoing softly against the crystalline walls. The air was charged with energy, a gentle hum that vibrated through his body. He could feel the resonance responding, as if recognizing something familiar in this place. Every instinct in him told him that the answers he sought were just ahead, though he still had no idea what they might reveal. Lyra led him to a circular chamber at the heart of the sanctuary. The walls shimmered with symbols that pulsed faintly with light, forming patterns that seemed almost alive. Alex's eyes widened as he scanned the inscriptions. They were alien, yet something about them felt resonant, like they were speaking directly to him. "This is the Codex Chamber," Lyra explained, her voice calm but firm. "Few Ithari have entered this place. It is reserved for those who are recognized, and now it seems you are recognized. By the Ithari or by me." He could feel the energy in them, subtle waves that matched the pulse in his own body. He reached out tentatively, brushing his fingers along one of the glowing lines. A shock ran through him, not painful but startling. Images flickered behind his eyes, a human figure standing among Ithari, guiding them, shaping their technology, solving problems no one else could. He stumbled back. What is this?" And now it seems that same spark exists in you. That unpredictability, that ingenuity, is why your ancestor could guide us, and why you carry the resonance now. You are ordinary and extraordinary at the same time. But to be recognized across species, across generations, for the very qualities he had always taken for granted, it was astonishing. A sudden vibration in the chamber made both of them turn. A panel slid open, revealing a hidden compartment filled with ancient Ithari devices. Lyra approached it and gestured for Alex to look closer. "These are archives," she explained. "Records, technology, and knowledge accumulated over millennia. They are meant to be used only by those who carry the resonance." With this technology, combined with human ingenuity, the potential was staggering. Lyra activated one of the devices, and a holographic projection filled the room. A three-dimensional map of the Ithari Empire appeared, glowing lines connecting planets, trade routes, and ancient sites of power. Alex noticed several locations marked with symbols that matched the resonance patterns within him. "These sites are connected to your lineage," Lyra said. "Your ancestor visited them, influenced events, and left a legacy that persists to this day. The resonance allows you to interact with these locations in ways no other human could. It is subtle but powerful." He was not just an observer of alien civilizations, he was now a participant, a bridge between humans and the Ithari. But before he could process further, a warning alarm sounded. The energy readings in the chamber spiked, and the resonance within him flared sharply. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "The Marauders," she said. "They have tracked us here." He had faced danger before, but this was different. The Marauders were known for their precision and ruthlessness. They would not hesitate to destroy anything in their path. Lyra moved quickly, guiding Alex to a hidden exit. "We must act," she said. "You have the resonance. It can help us anticipate their moves. Use it." He felt the subtle vibrations, the patterns of movement, the flow of energy around the sanctuary. It was as if the room itself was speaking to him, and he understood its language instinctively. He pointed to a series of energy conduits along the walls. "We can use these to create a defensive grid," he said. "If we redirect the power, we can shield the sanctuary and disrupt their sensors." The Marauders' ships descended, scanning for targets, but the sanctuary seemed to vanish, hidden behind a veil of energy and clever manipulation. When the Marauders fired, their attacks were deflected, absorbed, or redirected. Alex's pulse quickened with each successful maneuver. He was improvising, thinking on the fly, combining instinct with knowledge of alien technology. Every decision mattered, and every small success reinforced the truth that humans could excel in ways even advanced alien civilizations struggled to anticipate. Lyra watched him, awe evident in her eyes. "You are remarkable," she admitted. "Your actions are not just clever, they are creative, adaptive. This is what makes your kind invaluable." "We're good at thinking outside the box," he said. "Sometimes it's the unpredictability that wins the day." Lyra approached him, her expression serious but tinged with respect. "You have proven that the resonance is not just a symbol. It is a tool, and you wield it with skill. But this is only the beginning. There is much more you must learn, and many who will seek to understand or exploit what you carry." He had come seeking answers about a mysterious reaction in a marketplace, and now he stood at the center of something far larger, a legacy that stretched across time and space, a connection between humans and the Ithari that had persisted for centuries. Lyra guided him back to the Codex chamber. "There is a record," she said, "that explains why humans like you exist in our history. It is ancient, and it has been hidden for generations. You must see it to understand the full scope of your resonance." Images flickered before him. Humans interacting with the Athari in ways he had never imagined, solving problems that had shaped entire planets, influencing events that had long been thought to occur independently. The realization hit him. Humans had always been underestimated, and yet their adaptability, creativity, and courage had left an indelible mark on a species far older and more advanced than his own. This is incredible, Alex whispered. Humans, we've been shaping history without even knowing it. You have the opportunity to continue that legacy, to help guide our civilizations through challenges we cannot face alone. He was ordinary in many ways, a human, an explorer, a scientist, but he had just discovered that human ingenuity, adaptability, and courage were not limitations. They were strengths recognized across the stars. A sudden chime from the sanctuary's entrance reminded them that the marauders could return at any time. Lyra turned to him, her eyes steady. We must move forward. There are other sites, other records, other human resonances scattered across the galaxy. You are not alone, Alex, but you must understand your role first. He understood now that the unpredictability, the creativity, and the courage that defined humans were not weaknesses. They were their greatest strength. He looked at Lyra, determination hardening in his eyes. Then let's find them. Let's uncover the rest of this history. But remember, Alex, the path ahead will be challenging. You will face dangers unlike any you have known. The galaxy is vast, and not all who see the resonance will welcome it. Some will fear it, others will seek to control it. And sometimes, we thrive where others fail. The journey was far from over, but for the first time, he understood the true potential of being human, and why that potential mattered more than anyone had realized. As the chamber hummed around them, Alex felt a sense of clarity and purpose he had never known. He had discovered the resonance, faced danger, and proven that human ingenuity and courage could outmatch even the most advanced civilizations. But he also knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy held countless secrets, and he was determined to uncover every one of them. The asteroid's surface glimmered faintly in the distant starlight as Alex and Princess Lyra prepared to leave the sanctuary. The codex chamber behind them had revealed only part of the truth. Other sites, other human resonances, awaited them across the galaxy. Alex could feel the pulse of his own resonance responding to the journey ahead, steadying his nerves and sharpening his focus. Lyra led him to a small shuttle, sleek and designed for stealth rather than speed. It hovered silently as they boarded. She keyed in coordinates for their next destination, a planet deep within Athari space, known for its ancient energy fields and long-forgotten archives. The marauders were still a threat, their fleet likely regrouping after the encounter at the sanctuary. Alex knew that traveling openly was not an option. As the shuttle lifted off, Lyra spoke quietly. The marauders will not give up easily. They seek control of anything connected to human resonance. Some believe it can be weaponized. It's energy, a signal. How could anyone even use it that way? Improvisation, creativity, and courage had always been their tools. He was about to put them to the test on a scale far larger than he had ever imagined. The shuttle accelerated into open space. Alex manned the navigation controls, while Lyra monitored energy readings from nearby systems. Despite the vast emptiness around them, the resonance within Alex pulsed as if sensing hidden patterns in the universe. He had learned to trust it, even when logic failed. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the hum of the shuttle's engines and Lyra's occasional instructions. Then the warning lights blinked red. Sensors detected multiple ships approaching at high velocity. Marauders. They're faster than expected, Lyra said, her voice tight. We need to move or they will intercept us before we reach the archives. Follow me, he said, pointing toward the field. They won't risk flying through there at full speed. We can use it to our advantage. Alex calculated the trajectories instinctively, predicting where the ships might try to follow. Using the shuttle's energy signature, he created decoy pulses that mimicked their path. The marauders fired, but their weapons struck harmless rocks, scattering harmless energy bursts across the field. Impressive, Lyra said, her voice tinged with admiration. Your human ingenuity is remarkable. Several hours later, they arrived at the planet, a world of vast deserts and jagged mountains, scarred by ancient energy storms. The resonance within Alex pulsed strongly here, guiding him toward hidden entrances buried beneath the dunes. Lyra helped him decode the energy patterns embedded in the landscape, revealing a network of tunnels that led deep underground. Inside the tunnels, the air was cool and thick with the hum of dormant energy. Ancient Athari inscriptions lined the walls, glowing faintly as Alex approached. He felt the resonance respond to certain symbols, vibrating more intensely at specific locations. It was as if the planet itself recognized him, acknowledging the continuation of the human legacy. "This way," Lyra said, leading him through a winding passage. "The archives are deeper still, but the marauders may have anticipated our arrival. We must be ready." Suddenly, a faint vibration ran through the floor. Alex froze. "They're here," he whispered. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "We expected them, but we can use this to our advantage. You know what to do." The marauders relied on advanced sensors, but humans could think differently, use intuition where logic failed. He guided Lyra as they rerouted the energy through crystalline nodes along the walls, creating a network that could detect and mislead intruders. When the marauders entered the tunnels, their sensors were confused, showing false pathways and phantom obstacles. Alex watched as their formations faltered, giving them the advantage. A group of marauders rounded a bend, weapons ready. Alex acted instantly. He activated a pulse through the conduits, creating a temporary energy wall that blocked their path and forced them to retreat. Lyra followed his lead, using Athari technology to lock doors and seal off sections of the tunnels. "You are incredible," Lyra said, breathing heavily. "No Athari could have done this so quickly." Ancient Athari technology filled the room, crystalline data arrays, floating holographic displays, and devices humming with energy. Alex could feel the resonance peaking here, responding to the history embedded in the machines. "This is it," Lyra said softly. "The knowledge of generations preserved for those who carry the resonance. Here, you will learn why humans like you have mattered across the stars." His ancestors' actions were shown in vivid detail, demonstrating creativity, courage, and ingenuity. He realized then that humans had always been underestimated. Other species relied on structure, prediction, and calculation. Humans relied on intuition, adaptability, and courage. That combination had allowed them to survive and influence civilizations in ways no one else could. Lyra watched him, her expression a mixture of awe and respect. "You see now," she said, "why you startled me. Humans are capable of greatness beyond what we expected. Your unpredictability, your creativity, it is a strength we have long admired and feared." Humans had left their mark, and now it was his turn to continue that legacy. A sudden alarm interrupted the moment. The marauders had tracked them deeper into the planet and were attempting to breach the archive's defenses. Alex's mind raced. The tunnels were their advantage, but he needed a plan that could hold against superior numbers. He studied the energy patterns, the layout of the chamber, and the tunnels leading in. Then an idea sparked. Using the resonance, he could anticipate their moves, create energy decoys, and lead them into controlled traps. Lyra and her Athari devices would amplify the effect, creating illusions and barriers that would confuse the marauders. The attack began. Marauder drones entered the chamber, scanning for targets. Alex guided Lyra as they activated the energy nodes, creating shifting walls of light that misled the intruders. The drones collided with barriers, their sensors scrambled by the energy pulses. Alex's predictions of their movements allowed them to trap several drones in energy loops, effectively neutralizing them without causing permanent damage. Lyra followed his instructions precisely, redirecting power and sealing exits. Together, human intuition and Athari technology formed an unbeatable combination. The marauders were forced to retreat once more, unable to navigate the unpredictable defenses. When the dust settled, Alex sank to the floor, exhausted but exhilarated. The resonance within him pulsed gently, a reminder that he had not only survived but excelled. Lyra approached, her eyes shining with admiration. "You have proven something remarkable, Alex," she said. "Not just your skill, but your nature. Humans are capable of turning impossibility into victory. That is why your kind matters. That is why you carry the resonance. There are other resonances, other humans who have played their part. We must find them before those who would misuse their power do." Humans had survived and thrived by facing challenges head-on, and he would continue that tradition, protecting knowledge, guiding civilizations, and proving that ingenuity and courage could change the course of history. As they prepared to leave the archives and seek the next resonance, Alex realized that the universe was larger, stranger, and more full of opportunity than he had ever imagined. Humans had left their mark, and now it was his turn to continue it. The journey was far from over, but with Lyra by his side and the resonance within him guiding the way, he was ready for whatever challenges awaited. Alex and Princess Lyra emerged from the underground archives into the soft twilight of the desert planet. The sun's last rays stretched across jagged cliffs, painting the sand in gold and crimson. The marauders had not given up. Sensors detected multiple ships regrouping at the edge of the atmosphere, waiting for the right moment to strike. Alex could feel the pulse of his resonance, steady and guiding, a connection to something ancient and powerful. Lyra turned to him. "We must reach the Athari capital," she said. "There, you will learn the full truth of your resonance and your place in our history, but the marauders will not let us travel openly. We must use every advantage we have." He scanned the desert below, noting natural formations, rocky ridges, and hidden valleys. "We can use the terrain," he said. "If we fly low and weave between the cliffs, we can evade their sensors and make it harder for them to track us." Alex guided it with precision, using the cliffs and rock formations as natural shields against the approaching marauder ships. Energy pulses from the marauders' weapons streaked past, striking rocks harmlessly, while Alex maneuvered the shuttle in unpredictable arcs. Lyra adjusted the shuttle's shields and energy output, amplifying his movements and making them harder to track. Despite the danger, Alex felt exhilarated. The combination of human intuition and alien technology was more effective than he had imagined. Humans thrived on thinking outside predictable patterns, and right now, that unpredictability was saving their lives. After several tense minutes, the marauders' ships gave up the chase, unable to predict the shuttle's path through the twisting desert cliffs. Alex let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Lyra looked at him with awe. "You truly are remarkable," she said. "Your kind, your ingenuity, it surpasses what even we could anticipate. That's what humans do best." Lyra explained that the city itself had been designed with energy pathways that resonated with select humans carrying the ancient signal. Alex could feel it guiding him, showing him hidden entrances, secret corridors, and chambers meant for those recognized by the resonance. They landed at a secure platform and were immediately greeted by the Council of Athari elders. Their expressions were a mixture of curiosity, respect, and caution. Alex felt the weight of their scrutiny, but also the quiet acknowledgement of his importance. This was no ordinary human. The resonance marked him as part of their history, a living link to their past. Lyra addressed the council. "This human, Alex Rayner, carries the resonance. He is connected to the progenitor of our civilization, the human who guided us in the early days. His presence here is not accidental. Your ancestor shaped the course of our civilization, and now it seems the resonance has returned. You are not merely a visitor. You are part of our history, part of our legacy." Yet here he was, standing at the heart of an alien civilization, acknowledged as a key figure in its history. The council guided him to a chamber filled with holographic archives, detailing the actions of his ancestor. He saw humans negotiating peace treaties, guiding technological advances, and offering solutions to crises that no other species could solve. Every act showcased creativity, courage, and adaptability, the traits that defined humanity. Alex realized something profound. Humans had always been underestimated. Other species relied on structure, logic, and foresight. Humans thrived on intuition, adaptability, and boldness. That unpredictability, that creativity, had shaped civilizations without anyone realizing it. Lyra approached him quietly. "Now you understand why I froze when I first saw you," she said. "I saw the resonance, yes, but more than that, I saw history reflected in you. The spark that shaped my people centuries ago lives in you. That is why I stopped cold. But our ingenuity, our courage, it's enough to change the course of history. That is why your actions, your choices, matter more than ever. You must help us protect it. Do it." Energy barriers reflected weapon fire harmlessly into space, and holographic decoys misled the enemy into collisions and miscalculations. Alex guided Lyra, adjusting shields and directing energy pulses. His human intuition allowed him to anticipate moves that the Athari telepaths could not. Every decision mattered, every small adjustment created an advantage. Slowly, methodically, they turned the tide. Finally, the enemy fleet, unable to cope with the unpredictable defenses and continuous countermeasures, retreated. The Athari city remained intact, and the resonance within Alex pulsed softly, a reminder of his unique role. The council erupted in quiet celebration. Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes filled with admiration. "You have done more than survive," she said. "You have proven that humans are not merely ordinary. Your ingenuity, courage, and adaptability have saved us all. That is why your kind matters, why your resonance exists, and why history will continue through you." Now those traits had once again made a difference, not just for humans, but for an entire civilization. The eldest elder approached Alex, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You carry the legacy of your ancestor," he said, "and now you will guide the future. The resonance is a bond, a connection between species. With it, humans and Athari can shape the galaxy together." Other resonant humans exist across the galaxy. The archives hint at their locations. You are not alone. Together, humans carrying the resonance can guide civilizations, protect knowledge, and ensure that our shared history is honored. Humans survived and thrived because they adapted, improvised, and acted with courage. That same spirit would continue to shape the galaxy. He nodded at Lyra. "Then let's find them. Let's make sure the resonance fulfills its purpose. And with your kind, we will face it together." Alex looked at the stars above the city, vast and endless. For centuries, humans had been underestimated, but now, with the resonance, their potential was undeniable. He understood that being human was not a limitation, it was a gift, and he would use it to protect, to guide, and to inspire across the galaxy. The path ahead was uncertain, full of challenges, dangers, and unknowns. But Alex smiled, feeling the resonance within him steady and strong. Humans had always risen to the challenge, and now he would do the same, leading, adapting, and proving that ingenuity and courage could change the course of history. And as the first stars of a new galactic dawn appeared, Alex knew one thing for certain: the universe would never underestimate humans again.